back to business. The brain wave states. We focused on the delta wave state recently in a recent video that I made. If you didn't see it, go check it out. Delta wave states related to melatonin, related to mitochondrial functioning. Sorry for the glare on here. But today we're going to focus on the beta wave state. The beta wave state is like the cortisol state. All of these are related to hormone function. So the delta wave state, as it is equal to melatonin, it is also equal to increased testosterone. And because it's related to increased testosterone, it also is resultant of a lower cortisol level. Why? Because it gets us into our rest and digest side of the nervous system. The beta wave state, if you'll see, it says alert and focused. So imagine you overdosing on your coffee in the morning. Incredibly alert, very focused, a little bit too much so. Most people who have increased high elevated levels of cortisol, which is a lot of us here, we have really high, this is 12 to 30 hertz. People who secrete a lot of cortisol, they're more along this like high end spectrum of the 30 hertz. So the dirty hertz. How can we outsmart this whole process? Because you can. And it's all about knowing that we go through all of these stages. This is our daily rhythm. This is what happens at nighttime, but in a smaller scale. So having the delta wave state more present during your sleep will naturally level out your beta wave state. And so we're just gonna run through these other ones. Alpha wave state is awake but relaxed. So right before you fall asleep, like 45 minutes before you fall asleep, you're very suggestive, like a sponge, ready to take it in and ready to take whatever information in and think about it while you sleep. And as you wake up, right, we're awake, but we're not totally like focused and concentrated. We're not in that beta wave, we're just in that alpha wave. So we're still suggestive and open. That's why the first 45 minutes that you wake up is so important for setting the whole rhythm up for the whole day. Theta waves, if you're into some meditation, into some slowing down and relaxing the body, we can get into the theta wave state. People who are really good at meditating can do this, and all it requires is you knowing that all of these brainwave states are correlated to your respiratory rate. So imagine you go and you set your timer on your phone, like right now, and you go and set that timer for 2 minutes, and you say, well, I'm going to breathe as slow, as deep, and as long as possible. You can actually induce any brainwave state you want to. But it's important to have this delta wave state in there. The delta wave state is something that disappears with age, right? And we become chronically secreting cortisol. Our autonomic nervous system is down. We lose melatonin. We lose the ability to sleep as we age. A lot of people, if you're older, you got to get up during the night, pee a million times, right? Our hormones are off because essentially we would have a hormone present at night to keep us asleep. But it is so important to become aware of like what's going on and how it relates to your daily life, like your respiratory rate. And you can control this, but the best form of breath work to do is to put muscle on your body, because muscle is the storage capacity of oxygen. Muscle actually keeps our oxygen levels steady. So just like glucose needing a steady, even level, our oxygen levels also need to be nice and steady. If we have too much oxygen, it's going to destroy cell function, right? You're not friends with your mitochondria, you're kind of like enemies. We don't want to be enemies, we want to be friends. Why don't we all just all get along? But if you ever heard of oxidative stress, free radicals, right? Too much oxygen, we need it. Too much of it, bad. Too much exercise, bad. Too much salt, bad. But we need all of that. We need oxygen, we need exercise, we need salt. Salt's not bad. If you ever heard it was, sorry, somebody lied to you. We need salt. Sodium, potassium, one of the core balances of cellular functioning. So muscle is one of the biggest regulators. Why? Because when we have more muscle in the body, we have more cells, right? It takes more energy. It takes more mitochondria in the body. So when we have more oxygen, more muscle, we can manage the oxygen. And this is so cool, okay? Because one of the first signs of a respiratory illness, so like one of the first signs of somebody getting COVID is actually a drop in their oxygen saturation levels. And what's cool about the Oura Ring, I track everything on the Oura Ring, it will also give you oxygen saturation levels at night. Now, a lot of people have sleep apnea, and again, we normalize these diseases that are basically saying your body is messed up and not functioning properly, and we just go, oops, got fatty liver, oops, got sleep apnea, oops, got diabetes. We need to understand what's going on. This is all energy dysfunction of the cell. So how does a toe cell communicate with your lungs? It's all about energy. Get your mitochondria bumping. Get that lactic acid production bumping. What does lactic acid production have to do with muscles? Well, when you weight train, when you run, you build up lactic acid in the body, and you can walk. I'm a walker. I love to walk. Love it. Walking is one of the best ways to get low grade lactic acid levels up and elevated. And I find that it is super easy for the clearance. So it's super easy for cleaning afterwards, right? Because you can overdo a workout. I find a lot of people do this. A lot of people overtrain. I dealt with this early in my journey. Overtraining is basically compromising your immune function. You're creating so much metabolic damage. So perhaps you have way too much lactic acid buildup, and for days you're dealing with soreness, and for days your immune system is like, oh my God, what's going on? Everything's on fire. Fix it. Put it out. So like I like walking because I do think it's one of the best ways to get like low grade sweet spot exercises. And I've talked about this before, but if you wanted to passively weight train, you just throw that weight vest on you. Just throw that weight vest on you, go for a walk, and you're weight training. Isn't that amazing? Weight training is so good for your bones as well. So osteoporosis, we just need to keep those nutrients up in the body. And the one thing that we can't get rid of is those amino and fatty acids. So, you could do all the exercise you want in the world. You're right. You could go in the sunlight. Our cells eat. They feed themselves just like if you were to eat a steak over there. Your body at the cellular level feeds just like that in the sunlight, and just like that for exercise. Isn't that fascinating? So just imagine that you put all of these habits together, what will happen? I always say this, there really is only one way to find out. So I wish you luck if you're going through that. The brainwave states, so I became fascinated with this when I started tracking with my Oura Ring. So I was tracking like, where am I getting in my deep sleep, right? And the measurements, right? So that's the heart rate. My heart at night is slowing down. My heart rate, my autonomic nervous system is slowing down incredibly. So my respiratory rate is slowing down. My body temperature is dropping, right? This is a sign of immune function and health. So if you want to have optimal health, you want to optimize your sleep. Now, a lot of people ask me, they're saying, Rachel, should I get the Oura Ring? Or, should I get a Whoop or whatever? I say, look, if you want to track your physical activity, don't get the Oura Ring. Go get a Fitbit or something else that tracks your activity. Me, I am just focused on my brain, my recovery, my immune function. So my activity, I could go climb a mountain, or, I don't know, I could go do any type of exercise. I could play tennis for 12 hours. I don't really care much about my exercise. I care about my recovery. And I like variety and spice. So it's like I'm not always doing the same thing. I'm not, I don't really run. I'm a walker, right? But sometimes I'm specifically only weight training. And sometimes I'm just photosynthesizing. Like I'm doing a lot of photosynthesis lately because I love the sun. And it's about to be winter. and the days are a bit shorter, so I'm just feeding my mitochondria. I'm trying to get as much light in as possible at this time period in my life. So anyway, that's what was on my mind for today. I do love you. I wish you the best of luck. Send this to your family, friends. Tell them you love them. Like, share, subscribe if you want to donate. My Venmo is down below in the description. And as always, good luck.